The streams and rivers, they have complicated ecological communities that exist in a balance with themselves and with the physical environment that they occur in. But these communities can be sort of highly influenced by the surrounding land use. One of the main groups of creatures that live in streams that scientists like to look at in order to understand what's happening in a stream and how healthy it is are the macroinvertebrates. So macroinvertebrates are your stream insects, but they also include snails, worms and crustacea. So over many years, scientists have managed to determine the degree of tolerance of each of these macroinvertebrate species to different levels of pollution. So by looking at the different species that can be found in any one stream, we can understand what's happening in the stream, but also what's happening in the catchment around it. Different stream types will have a different sort of baseline, unimpacted, if you like, community of macroinvertebrates. So in some of our other videos, we've looked at the different stream types typically found on the west coast, our alpine streams, our hill-fed rivers and our spring-fed streams. Each of these rivers will have a natural community of macroinvertebrates that is quite different from the other ones. So the alpine-fed streams will have a much lower number of species and a much lower number of individuals because the bed's constantly being rolled over by floods. You can compare that to a lowland stream, which will have these really diverse macroinvertebrate communities with lots of different species and species that are also quite long-lived and may have sedentary lifestyles. And they can live in those streams because the flows are quite constant and the environment's very stable. So by looking at the macroinvertebrates, we can determine how healthy a stream is. So your invertebrate species such as your mayflies, your stoneflies and your caddisflies, they're typically found in clean streams. In streams that are maybe more impacted by adjacent land use, that have got murky water, higher water temperatures or lots of sediment on the bed, we're more likely to find snails and worms and crustacea and taxa like that. But of course there's far more living in our streams than just the macroinvertebrates that we use to determine water quality or stream health. There are also bigger invertebrates such as freshwater mussels and freshwater crayfish. There are all the various different species of fish that are unique to New Zealand streams. Some of these fish, they have to migrate to and from the sea, such as the eels or the whitebait. Some of them live permanently in our freshwaters. And then beyond the stream itself, there are a whole lot of creatures such as birds and bats that are quite reliant on the presence of a healthy stream in order to get their food resources and their nesting habitat and so on.